Picture this. You deliver an absolute tactical masterclass on the pitch. You score 5 spectacular goals in a flawless World Cup victory, and yet, somehow, you're still left totally in the dark, with your entire tournament survival hanging by a single fragile thread. Crazy, right? Well, how is that even possible?
Let's dive right into it. Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are breaking down the absolutely dramatic conclusion of Group I at the 2026 World Cup. We're looking specifically at Senegal's desperate all-or-nothing fight for survival against Iraq. It's a game that gave us a stunning 5-0 masterclass on the pitch, but ultimately ended in a nail-biting, agonizing wait off it.
Early drama, the 13-minute chaos.
So, Senegal knew exactly what was on the line coming into this fixture, and man, they came out like a team possessed. Just think about how incredibly fast this unraveled for Iraq. 4 minutes in, literally just 4 minutes, Abdoulaye Seck fires off a powerful header from a corner. It takes this massive, decisive deflection off Sunderland midfielder Habib Diarra, and boom, back of the net past goalkeeper Ahmed Bassil. 1-0 Senegal. But the real structural turning point comes just 9 minutes later, when Iraq's Rebin Sulaka is shown a red card, entirely shattering the complexion of the game before the match even truly settled.
And the exact mechanism of that red card? Well, that's what really sealed Iraq's fate. Rebin Sulaka makes the critical error of pulling down Sadio Mane right at the edge of the penalty area. Referee Anthony Taylor did not hesitate for a second, but a swift VAR review confirmed it, denial of a clear goal-scoring opportunity. Sulaka is off. Suddenly, Iraq is down to 10 men, massively compounding their early misery in what was a must-win game for them.
The surge, Lions unleashed.
Because from that red card onward, the Lions of Teranga were truly unleashed. It was a relentless siege. In the 56th minute, former Manchester United midfielder Zidane Iqbal gives away possession. Lamine Camara cuts it back, and Ismaila Sarr applies a brilliant finish to make it 2-0. Then, blink and you miss it. Substitute Pape Gueye comes on and hits a rapid-fire double, a beautiful curling left-foot strike in the 59th minute, and a thunderous second effort in the 71st. Finally, fellow substitute Iliman Ndiaye comes off the bench to completely seal the rout in the 82nd minute. Just absolutely breathless stuff.
This sequence brilliantly illustrates the sheer depth of this Senegal squad. The BBC Live reporting captured it perfectly, saying, "What a moment for Pape Gueye off the bench. The Villarreal defensive midfielder stepped onto the pitch and, within moments, curled that strike right into the top corner. Literally his very first involvement in the game. That is exactly the kind of immediate, electrifying impact every manager dreams of in a World Cup."
5-0. What a monumental scoreline. This really capped off a near-perfect game for Pape Thiaw's side, completely bouncing back from their tough defeats against France and Norway to make a massive pitch-dominating statement.
Total domination, by the numbers.
When you look at the possession metrics, they tell the entire story of the match's tempo. Senegal just suffocated the midfield with 69.2% possession, leaving Iraq with a measly 30.8%. For the vast majority of the 90 minutes, the Iraqi players were quite literally left chasing shadows, without a foothold anywhere on the pitch. But the most crushing disparity here lies in the expected goals, or XG. Senegal generated a massive 3.03 XG. Iraq, just 0.17. It perfectly illustrates how incredibly toothless Iraq's attack was made to look by that rock-solid Senegalese defense, while Senegal relentlessly created non-stop, high-quality chances on the other end. And honestly, the sheer volume of those chances is almost hard to believe. Senegal bombarded the Iraqi goal with 28 total shots. 12 of those were on target, forcing goalkeeper Ahmed Bassil to make 7 saves. Contrast that with Iraq, who managed a grand total of 6 shots and only a single shot on target all game long. It was a completely one-way street.
To wrap up the statistical breakdown, just think about the control in the danger zone. Senegal executed 197 successful final third passes compared to Iraq's 27. That is over 7 times as many dangerous, threatening passes. Absolute, undisputed control of the final third from the first whistle to the last.
Group I closes, the anxious wait. Now, as the lights dim on Group I, the narrative shifts entirely. See, while Senegal was dominating in Toronto, over in Boston, France secured the top spot. Ousmane Dembélé's stunning 32-minute hat-trick helped them demolish Norway 4-1, which means France finishes top of the group with a perfect 9 points, winning 3 out of 3. Norway, despite resting Erling Haaland and making 10 changes, takes second with 6 points. So, even with a historic 5-0 victory, Senegal finishes third in their group with 3 points, eliminating Iraq at the absolute bottom.
Which brings us to the most nerve-wracking part of this entire tournament, the third-place ranking table. Senegal currently sits in 5th place with their 3 points and a +2 goal difference. Remember, only the top 8 third-place teams across the entire tournament advance to the final 32. It is an incredibly tight margin, and they are hovering right there in the middle of the pack.
It's a deeply bittersweet reality. The BBC perfectly captured the mood, noting Senegal have done their job. It's a waiting game now. The Lions of Teranga did absolutely everything they could today. They played flawlessly, they fixed their goal difference, and this result actually pushed Scotland down to 9th place in the 3rd place table. But their fate is entirely out of their hands now. They can only watch the rest of the world play, wait, and hope.
So I leave you with this final thought to ponder. Will this breathtaking 5-0 masterclass be enough to save Senegal's World Cup dream? Or will one of the most dynamic teams in the tournament be sent packing because of results happening in completely different stadiums, entirely outside of their control? That is the cruel, magnificent beauty of the World Cup. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep your eyes glued to those group stage tables.